And don't you suspect, dear Prince, Yevgeny Pavlovich went on smiling, without answering the direct question, don't you suspect that I've simply come to hoodwink you and, incidentally, to worm something out of you, eh? There's no doubt at all that you've come to worm something out of me, the prince finally laughed, too, and it may even be that you've decided to deceive me a bit. But so what? I'm not afraid of you, what's more, it somehow makes no difference to me now. Can you believe that? And, and, and since I'm convinced before all that you are still an excellent person, we may indeed end by becoming friends. I like you very much, Yevgeny Pavlik. In my opinion, you're a very, very decent man. Well, in any case it's very nice dealing with you, even in whatever it may be, Yevgeny Pavlovich concluded. Come, I'll drink a glass to your health. I'm terribly pleased to have joined you here. Ah! He suddenly stopped. Has this gentleman Hippolyte come to live with you? Yes. He's not going to die at once, I suppose? Why? No, nothing, I spent half an hour with him here. All this time Hippolyte was waiting for the prince and constantly glancing at him and Yevgeny Pavlovich, while they stood aside talking. He became feverishly animated as they approached the table. He was restless and agitated, sweat broke out on his forehead. His eyes, along with a sort of roving, continual restlessness, also showed a certain vague impatience. His gaze moved aimlessly from object to object, from person to person. Though up to then he had taken great part in the general noisy conversation, his animation was only feverish. He paid no attention to the conversation itself. His arguments were incoherent, ironic, and carelessly paradoxical. He did not finish and dropped something he himself had begun saying a moment earlier with feverish ardor. The prince learned with surprise and regret that he had been allowed, unhindered, to drink 2 full glasses of champagne that evening, and that the glass he had started on, which stood before him, was already the third. But he learned it only later. At the present moment he was not very observant. You know, I'm terribly glad that precisely today is your birthday, cried Hippolyte. Why? You'll see. Sit down quickly. First of all, because all these, your people have gathered. I reckon there would be people. For the first time in my life my reckoning came out right. Too bad I didn't know about your birthday, or I'd have come with a present. Ha, ha. Maybe I did come with a present. Is it long before daylight? It's less than 2 hours till dawn, Tin said, looking at his watch. Who needs the dawn, if you can read outside as it is? Someone observed. It's because I need to see the rim of the sun. Can one drink the sun's health, Prince? What do you think? Hippolyte asked abruptly, addressing everyone without ceremony, as if he were in command, but he seemed not to notice it himself. Perhaps so, only you ought to calm down, eh, Hippolyte? You're always talking about sleep, you're my nanny, Prince. As soon as the sun appears and resounds in the sky, who said that in a poem, the sun resounded in the sky ?8 it's meaningless, but good. We'll go to bed. Lebedev. Is the sun the wellspring of life? What are the wellsprings of life in the apocalypse? Have you heard of the star wormwood, 9 Prince? I've heard that Lebedev thinks this star wormwood is the network of railways spread over Europe. No, excuse me, sir, that's not it, sir. Lebedev cried, jumping up and waving his arms, as if wishing to stop the general laughter that was beginning. Excuse me, sir. With these gentlemen, all these gentlemen, he suddenly turned to the prince, in certain points, it's like this, sir, and he unceremoniously rapped the table twice, which increased the laughter still more. Lebedev, though in his usual evening state, was much too agitated and irritated this time by the preceding long-learned argument, and on such occasions his attitude towards his opponents was one of boundless and highly candid contempt. That's not it, sir. Half an hour ago, Prince, we made an agreement not to interrupt, not to laugh while someone is talking, to allow him to say everything freely, and then let the atheists object if they want to. We made the general our chairman, so we did, sir. Or else what, sir? Or else anybody can get thrown off, even with the highest idea, sir, even with the deepest idea. Well, speak, speak, nobody's throwing you off. Voices rang out. Speak, but not through your hat. What is this star wormwood? Somebody asked. I have no idea. General Ivolgin answered, taking his recently appointed place as chairman with an air of importance. I have a remarkable fondness for all these arguments and irritations, Prince, learned ones, naturally, murmured Keller, meanwhile stirring on his chair in decided rapture and impatience, learned and political ones. He turned suddenly and unexpectedly to Yevgeny Pavlovitch, who was sitting almost next to him. You know, I'm terribly fond of reading about the English parliaments in the newspapers, that is, not in the sense of what they discuss, I'm no politician, you know, but of the way they discuss things together, and behave, so to speak, like politicians. The noble Viscount sitting opposite me, the noble Earl, who shares my thinking, my noble opponent, who has astonished Europe with his proposal, that is, all those little expressions, all that parliamentarianism of a free nation, that's what our sort finds attractive. I'm captivated, Prince. I've always been an artist in the depths of my soul, I swear to you, Yevgeny Pavlik. So then, Ganya was seething in another corner, it turns out, in your opinion, that the railways are cursed, that they're the bane of mankind, a plague that has fallen upon the earth to muddy the well springs of life? 10. Gavrila Ardalionovich was in a particularly agitated mood that evening, a merry, almost triumphant mood, as it seemed to the prince. He was, of course, joking with Lebedev, egging him on, but soon he became excited himself. Not the railways, no, sir. Lebedev protested, beside himself and at the same time enjoying himself tremendously. By themselves the railways won't muddy the well springs of life, but the thing as a whole is cursed, sir. All this mood of our last few centuries, as a general whole, scientific and practical, is maybe indeed cursed, sir. Certainly cursed or only maybe. It's important in this case, inquired Yevgeny Pavlovitch. Cursed, certainly cursed. Lebedev confirmed with passion.